Welcome friends, myself Rahul Thakkar from LJ Institutes of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is lasers. You all are aware about lasers, which is an acronym and stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. So in today's video, we are covering the topics such as introduction to the lasers, properties of laser, principle on which laser is obtained, and at the end we will learn the difference between spontaneous emission and stimulated emission. Okay? So what is stimulated emission, what is spontaneous emission will be covered in the topic of principle of lasers. Okay, so let's start with the first topic of today's session, that is introduction to lasers. So what does the laser stands for? So the word laser, which is an acronym, stands for light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. It is very important, please note that. It is an acronym which stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Now, the lasers are highly directional, highly intense, highly monochromatic and highly coherent optical sources. What are lasers? Lasers are optical sources which has the characteristics such as highly directional, highly intense, highly monochromatic and highly coherent. The stimulated emission was first postulated by Sir Albert Einstein in 1917. Okay. So now coming to the next topic, that is properties of lasers. So the first property is coherence. So what does the coherence means? The wave train which are identical in phase and direction are known as a coherent waves. You all are aware about that. Now, how does a laser have a coherence? So, since all the constituent photons of a laser beam possess the same energy, momentum, and propagate in the same direction, hence the laser beam is said to be highly coherent. Another property is high intensity. So, due to the coherent nature, laser has the ability to focus over a small area of about 10 raised to minus 6 centimeter square. That is extremely high concentration of energy over a small area is obtained by using lasers. Next is high directionality. So an ordinary light source emits a light in all possible directions, but laser travels as parallel beam over a long distance without spreading it. It is highly directional as the angular spread of laser is about 1 mm per meter. The angular spread of laser, that is about 1 mm per meter. So that much small angular spread is there, and thus the high directionality is one of the property of laser. Now next is high monochromaticity. So what does a monochromatic means? The light from a normal monochromatic source spread over a range of wavelength of order of 100 nanometers, but the spread is of the order of 1 nanometer for the lasers. Hence, laser is highly monochromatic, that is, it emits the light of single wavelength. Means a singular color is obtained in laser. Okay. Now next is brightness. So light from laser is much more brighter than the other ordinary sources of light. Hence, it has high brightness. Now next is laser speckles. So speckles are the light patterns resulting from the reflection of coherent light at rough surfaces. It can degrade the image quality of laser projection display. It can be avoided by a light source of sufficiently large optical bandwidth. Okay? So that was all about the properties of laser. Now moving further to the principle of lasers. So to explain the process of light amplification in a laser requires an understanding of energy transition phenomena in the atom of its active medium. They include spontaneous emission and stimulated emission, also stimulated absorption. The theory of quantum mechanics states that the electron of an atom can take different energy states E1, E2 and E3. For example, E1 is less than, E2 is less than E3. These are the different energy levels. Okay, so let's start with induced absorption. First one is induced absorption. If a photon of energy h into nu is incident on an atom in the lower state, the photon is absorbed by the atom and atom gets excited to the higher state. As you can see in the figure, before absorption the atom is in the E1 state, lower state. But now when the E is equals to hv amount of energy of photon is incidented on it, the atom is excited and it is transited from E1 to E2 in the higher state. So we can say that atom plus photon will give atom star. Atom star indicates excited state of an atom that is in a higher energy bandwidth. The rate of absorption R12 is proportional to the population of the lower energy level N1. N1 is considered to be the energy level in the bandwidth E1. And the density of incident radiation. So R12 is proportional to N1 and rho. Remember over here R12 is nothing but rate of absorption. N1 is a population in E1 and rho is the density. Okay, so we can say that R12 is equals to B12 into N1 into rho. So where B12 is nothing but the constant of proportionality. So we will study further for that B12. What is B12 and what is its value? Okay, it will be coming in next video lecture. But right now understand over here B12 is nothing but a proportionality constant. Okay. Now next is spontaneous emission. So by quantum mechanics, the lower energy level is more stable than higher energy levels. So the electron tend to occupy the lower level. Those electrons in a higher energy level decay into a lower level with the emission of EM radiation, electromagnetic radiations. The process is called spontaneous emission. So the radiation emitted is equals to the energy difference between the two levels. So what is spontaneous emission? It is a process in which there is an emission of photon whenever an atom transits from a higher energy state to the lower energy state without the aid of any external agency. As you can see in the figure, right now presently atom is in excited state in the energy state band E2. Now whenever the atom is transiting from E2 to E1, so that atom star excited state will give atom plus photon. Now that photon energy is emitted. So I have written in the next figure, that is after emission figure, you can see that HV is equals to E2 minus E1, that is difference between two levels amount of energy is radiated. So the rate of spontaneous emission R21 because transition is from 2 to 1. So the rate of spontaneous emission R21 in bracket SP is written. SP indicates for spontaneous. Okay. is proportional to the population N2 at a higher energy level. So R21 SP is proportional to N2. On removing proportionality, we get R21 SP is equals to A21 into N2. Right now, remember over here, A21 is nothing but a proportionality constant. Okay? A21 is constant for emission. B21 was constant for absorption. So A is for emission and B is for absorption. Okay? Remember that. Now, next is stimulated emission. This is crucial if lasing is to occur. Suppose the atom of the active medium are initially in E2. If external electromagnetic wave with frequency that is near to the transition frequency between E2 and E1 is incident on the medium, then there is a finite probability that the incident wave will force the atom to undergo a transition E2 to E1. Every E2 minus E1 transition gives out an electromagnetic wave in the form of photon. So we call this stimulated emission since the process is caused by an external excitation. The emitted photon in a phase with the incident photon has the same wavelength as it and travels in the same direction. So what is stimulated emission? So it is a process in which there is an emission of photon whenever an atom transits from a higher energy state to a lower energy state under the influence of an external energy. As you can see in the figure, before emission, what is there? Atom is in higher energy state. So atom plus photon will give. Now an external energy amount photon is applied. So it will give atom plus photon plus photon. So the final energy emitted is E2 minus E1 is obtained. That is after emission. Now the rate of stimulated emission R21ST is proportional to the population N2 at its higher energy level E2 and to the density of the inducing photon. So we can say that R21ST is proportional to N2 into rho. Therefore, R21ST is equals to B21 into N2 into rho, where again B21 is proportionality constant. So next is the difference between spontaneous emission and stimulated emission, or we can say that stimulated emission and spontaneous emission. So as you can see in the table, there are listed the differences. So let's start one by one. Let us take a look on the first difference. Okay, first is stimulated emission and another one is spontaneous emission. Let us take a look on the number one. In stimulated emission, the emission of light takes place through an inducement, that is by external photon. In spontaneous emission, the emission of light takes place immediately without any inducement. Second point is it is not a random process. Stimulated emission is not a random process, whereas spontaneous emission is a random process. In stimulated emission, the photon gets multiplied through a chain reaction. In spontaneous emission, the photon didn't get multiplied by a chain reaction. Stimulated emission is controllable process, whereas spontaneous emission is an uncontrollable process. In stimulated emission, the laser obtained is more intense, and spontaneous emission, on the other hand, is less intense. Stimulated emission is a monochromatic radiation, spontaneous emission is a polychromatic radiation. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching.